Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing blue white blink. I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers playing this style deck, so I kind of wanted to get involved. I'm currently using Covert Go Blues list. I'll have a link to his video in the description because it is his exact list. Because I'm really dumb when it comes to this kind of deck, so I kind of wanted to take inspiration from him and try it out, and then maybe go from there, turn it into maybe an Esper list or something. But we run really well. We had really good plays with the deck. The deck's really sweet. It does feel clunky at times. However, we'll see how it goes overall. If you enjoy the content, please be sure to subscribe. I really appreciate it. Other than that, let's just go ahead and get into the games. Here we go first. We have a pretty solid hand, I think. We don't really have like a creature we really want to target the exile. Maybe this, I could argue. But, I mean, I guess that is the target. Let's play land. Let's see what they're up to. White Veteran. It should be good. The only thing I would be afraid of is a Thalia, but we're fine because we draw other land. Oh, there's Thalia. Draw so you can coast, which is even better. I can just keep putting counters on that. That's kind of crazy. But let's just pass here. We want to respond to something like a Brutal Cathar if we can, or get a block off and then flicker it away. Vendor. Okay. One life here. Going on Dahlia. Oh, they put it there? That's kind of surprising. They only attack with it. Make that trade. Sure. I guess. And now we just skip him in. It has vigilance, so we're just gonna sit here and I guess have a good time. Ask our opponent what they're about. Intrepid Adversary, sure. Maybe we can trick him into going to some dangerous combat scheme here. Sure, well, you can't pay for that. You got a plan? No? I meant to... cringe. Just got... No. Not exactly what I had in mind. I definitely meant to flicker this. But... Well. Go to combat here. They do nothing. One will hit. I need to make a stop here on second main when they tap out is what I meant to do. A little bit of a sequencing issue. I keep forgetting when this flickers, it comes back at instep, not immediately. It's not like an ephemerate or something like that. I'm playing with cards for the first time. This blink deck's been everywhere, so I definitely wanted to be giving it a shot myself. This guy going like a Thalia, right? It was on itself. Okay. Attack with it. It also adds vigilance. Sure. Block. Flicker it now. Come back later here. You just stop anymore. Adeline post combat. Sure. Our 4/5. Our 5 creature that is currently crying in the club. Probably another 4/5. Make it like real awkward for them to get in. We just play as another 2 of. Then we just pass it up, I guess. We're in such a weird game. That's for sure. And that makes it harder. Maybe we'll convince him to do some crazy attack here. Just that. Ah, they're scared. I don't blame you. Please cast the soul partition. Thank you. Just put that back and let's just eat up this 3/3. That's massive. That's kind of why I was like worried that we're kind of playing a little bit scared there. Is I guess paying the X is only going to be 1, right? Yeah. Let's get... That's 5 mana if they want to spend their whole turn to do it. The adversaries are fine, but it also takes their entire turn if they want to do it again. Let's just put it away. Then we just kind of... I mean, I guess I attack with this. If you're interested in blocking it all. Want to be hitting that card advantage here shortly. But I take care of the Thalia. I'm not even sure I care about it too much anymore. I think I care about the thing putting counters on everything. Yeah, because this is 7. I can't make it big enough to survive, and I can't make it big enough to kill them both. So we'll tap this, put a counter here. I was like, wait, why did it hit the Thalia first? That's not what I wanted. Not what I wanted at all. Now we have this 3/3 that can kind of get in the way. Thalia is not going to get in the way of really, but the adversary it'll definitely consider jumping in front of. Another land, we can play a 7 mana 3/3. That dies about everything. That's my favorite part of this deck. I want a Peacekeeper, sure. What would you like to name? I can still play a Thresher as a 1/1. I mean, if they make it more expensive, it'll just be for 5 mana. Name a card. Hey, that's a good one. Let's... Is this either player? Let's play this. Like to draw cards. Now I can just play this, which is actually kind of sweet. I'm fine with doing this now. Do this, give it flying. It's already got Vigilantes, so we don't need it to have it twice. Five mana. They might play Adeline again, but even more so than that. They're actually staring at 10, 11 because we can put a counter on the assembler. Another vendor, sure. Ossification for 3. What are you targeting? Steel Seraph, that makes sense. I'm putting a counter on something. Attacking there. Ah, come on, opponent. Playing scared. Actually not like trying to be that toxic. I do think they're playing a little scared to some extent. Like, I don't... If you swing the 2 4s, I don't really have good trades. I didn't have any mana here. More or less what I'm implying. That they kind of actually just are. More or less than anything else. Could play this, but I don't... Actually, it's fine to play this, right? Because then I can exile with the Fox next turn. Although I think using the Fox as a combat trick here is actually more valuable. Also, why do all these creatures I'm playing have vigilance? Kind of funny, to be honest. Like attack, but also be able to hold back. We'll play Fox here. We can have it come in, eat like an adversary or something to kind of cause some problems for him. Rapid adversary. Vanguard is fine because we can pay for the ward. Another Adeline. This is where they get confident and actually attack us. We'll see. Okay. We have the plays to make here. We can... They're tapped out, so we can... Let's just play bodyguard to make the math simpler. It doesn't matter if we do any play here. And then we can eat... I guess it's the same, right? I guess we just take the ward guy. And then we move the blocks. I throw a block here. I throw a block here. Then we'll just call that good. I put a counter here, and then I get to trade that off for free. Yeah, so they went from like having really good turns to attacking to kind of waiting too long. I think they needed to be a little bit. They needed to be a little bit more aggressive, especially on a turn that they had a couple 4-ofs. I know the possibility of losing this and losing the Lord sucks, but you're getting my creatures off the board, and now you don't need a Lord because all your creatures are going to hit. So, it's a little bit weird. A little bit. Just fine enough on the play. I mean, yeah, it's like, okay, because we can worst case scenario blink their creature if we have to. This gives us a lot of mana to work with. We can play this and then blink it. This is kind of what I'm talking about, where things can get a little bit out of control on their end. What is that? Backup? Trample 1? Or backup trample 1? When are we going to get that mechanic? Thoughts? This I'm perfectly fine with hitting for right now. Is it just mono green? It seems that way. Take our turn. We'll play this 3-3. We'll see how it goes. Lifelink. At the beginning of upkeep, mill card. The 3 more creature cards in your graveyard. Transform it. This is definitely going to be a good sleeper card. Like a nice turn 1 drop. For the new set coming out. With the graveyard kind of mattering a lot. We're definitely going to have to see a lot of things in the future about how to interact with those creatures and whatnot. Definitely going to be a big concern. Or graveyards is what I'm meaning, not creatures to interact with. We're going to have to be able to exile graveyards and whatnot. Let's just attack here. I can hold up a blink effect. I would really like to get this down, but I think we can maybe do a combat trick. Oh, I guess we can't. That's the only problem with these. I keep thinking they're ephemerates. Just getting them right back into play. That'll hit. These will flip. These are 3/3s. Very nice. Very nice for our opponent here. Is this just when this dies? Yeah, so we can exile it and not have to worry too much. We can enter, exile any creature, making them cost less. Spells you cast cost 1 less for each card type they share. So this is the one creature. So creatures cost less. Ward 2. Big meaty boy for now. Ass. Get an attack here, I would assume. So we are going to soul partition this, putting it back. We'll move to combat. We'll block here, and then we'll flicker our creature to have it come back and be a 5/4 on instead. Let's take 3 here. Comes back, it enters. Everything's looking fine and dandy from our end. I want to play this as another 3/3. I'm just not entirely sure it's needed. I think we want the 4/4 here, as it can trade off with pretty much anything. Target here, we'll give it vigilance, we'll attack. We're kind of in a race, and we got bigger creatures currently. Although those, I guess, will get bigger. What? If you may exile a card from a graveyard, if it's a creature card, exile this way, put it on counter. They had creatures. They just didn't exile them to make them bigger. What a weird play. Okay, so they concede. I felt pressured really bad. Why did they do that? We have Thresher on 3. We have a couple of exile effects. We have this kind of card. We don't have double blue. We're going to try this hand, though. I should have left off with the island in case we find a card that we can play that early, but we don't. Play our 3-1. You have kind of cool things to do here if they are domain. Maybe just ban control. You have ways to flicker our creatures out and around. Attack. Hit. To jam to or to not jam. It is. Actually, I'd probably rather just flash this in, no? Nah, we jam. Worst case scenario, they do something and then we can soul partition it. Like if they put this under a leyline binding, I think it can do that, right? I think I'll target non-land permanent. So yeah, if they leyline binding our Thresher, we just soul partition it. Put it back on the stack, make it permanently cost 2 more. Let's go to combat. We'll attack for 4. You can also just flicker it in response to the target now that we've gotten back to our turn. So a little bit something to think about. Let's get this boy down. The old assembler. The 2/2 Vigilantes. That's what's really crucial in the late game. Whenever, obviously they have binding now. But, what do you target here? Really don't care that much. A little part of me wants to exile this, but I think I'm just going to let it ride. See if they don't try to remove something here. Invasion of Zendikar. Okay. What's more damage? Just 4/5 or just making this a 3/3 and hitting for 6, 9? And then we could soul partition this later on an instep and do a combat trick with it. Yeah, let's do that. They played a land already and this invasion is going to come in tapped, so we don't really care. So our turn. Back. We got a nice little 3/3 here. Not an assembly worker, so we can't do something like flicker this, put this in, and like put a counter on it or do something along those lines. Move to combat. Let's hit. Thing we have to worry about is, of course, things like Sunfall as they will exile. We have ways around it. So let's pass. Which realistically, if they Sunfall me, I'm just going to Archangel. Okay. I actually have a combat trick for this. Double target there. Let's Werewolf. Opti Guard. Target there. Yes, indeed. These will now fizzle. We'll sack this, bringing our 3/3 black, and then soul partition out the Archangel, and then hit them for lethal. So, we take away 4 life plus a 3/4 life linker and get through no matter what. So, this domain, it felt pretty good. All right, go first. Fine. Have the stuff. Good stuff. Definitely a question mark land. Could be Bant Control. Be Infect. Could be a lot of things, to be honest. I haven't played with this assembler much. I kind of dig it. This is just ossification. If it is, we're going to have to play really awkward for the rest of the game, maybe. Tommy, it's just enchantments. That's fine. Not really, but like, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Let's move to combat. Let's attack. Give me a free trade. No. Darn it. We just play the Steel Seraph. No, I think we need to play around like ossification and whatnot. So let's just play to flicker this. And then we can expansion. We can journey to Kami. North Visitor, sure. Again, I think Ossification's coming. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So Ossification will enter, it will target, and we will remove in response to the target. Nope. Not our card. That's our card. It'll come back, it'll be a 4/5. We'll be putting on that pressure that we really want. Attack. Oh, 4/5 with vigilance for some reason. Like, that's really cool. Now what do we do? Do we look at their hand or do we just slam this? I think slamming this makes a lot of sense. Getting this like 4/4 out of here. No. I'd like to pay 1. Take this out. Now if they want to play it again, it's 2 mana and we'll draw a card. Seal of Existence. Sure. Ward 3? Why? So much ward. So little reason. No. Kind of surprised to see that though. Considering Besage you could blow up literally everything we play. Their deck, not mine. Invasion here. Get a little gander at the handsy. Alright, well, this has got to go. I can't deal with that well. And then we'll play a Spirit. We can exile it if we want, but I'm definitely going to try to block a Fable. Although we really can't because we have this, and then flickering it doesn't really do anything, I guess. They play Kami, giving us a draw. Pretty good. They play Naturalist. They're not even playing the other enchantment creature. Sure. I don't know if this is a deck we can keep up with, though, to be honest. I have him block here, but it doesn't really do anything. Double Soul Partition. Oh man, trampled creatures are the vein of our existence. I genuinely don't think I have an out. They play this, these get bigger. I can flicker one and then I'm just like dead to the other. I flicker both. I mean, I guess that's my only chance. What does this say? They can go get an ossification. They draw a land. I hate everything that's happening right now. Guess we end turn. You got for me, Chief? Play that. What's the play? Oh wait, they don't even need the extra mana. Oh, they don't even do it. Cause this reduces it by 1. So oh, it's all lethal. Everything's lethal. Plus 2-0. We'll go up because it don't enter the battlefield. So we'll remove this. We have to. We'll remove this because we have to. Solve all. Would like to attack with it. I mean, I'm gonna block. Set me to 1, which is pretty good. Enter from exile. Oh man, I don't think it's worth it. I think we have to kill this thing. Doesn't feel great, but I think it's the thing we have to do. Here's 5/4, I guess. Maybe I should have played this and then played this to give this lifelink and hit for 4. Kind of a mistake on my end. Naturalist. Ender. Sure. Nothing. Find another soul partition. One of these enters from exile, and we find another creature. I think if I'm not attacking, I'm not winning now because they have such a big start coming down the line. Could hit this. I might actually need randomly for the hexproof part. Like a weird thing to bring up. We gain a lot here. Put another counter on this. Also, if I attack with this later and put lifelink on it, it's just going to get bigger and bigger every turn. There's 5 mana. The Haunting's available. They do play it. I can soul partition it. The inner, which when you cast, sure. I mean, that's tough. That is tough. Well, let's see what we can do here. We can't convince an attack or something to come through. Sure. Nothing. Let's just put this away because I don't think it's something we can actually overcome anytime soon. On to... Oh boy. Oh man. It's just gonna get harder and harder, huh? I'm gonna pay 2. Yep. Want to make... We want to put this and this away. It's all in exile. They have 6 cards to play with. Let's target here. It already has vigilance, so we'll give it lifelink. And I'm attacking, I think. I guess I should have given this lifelink. It would have been more life. Yeah, I don't. If I was giving it lifelink, I don't know why I did that. If realistically, if I did anything, I should have given this vigilance or this lifelink. That's 7. I think we actually have this game. We have it in the air, which is honestly quite crazy to me. We double draw. We have hexproof and indestructible at any point if they tried to ossification or something. We pulled it out. And not think we were going to. I almost conceded at one point because I was just like, I think the string of cards we drew, by the way, was a little like absurd, but you kind of have to hope for those when you're really far behind. Is indestructible, right? Yeah. So we definitely block because their plan is to copy the ossification, and then we sack this. Either way, this is also lethal. To the top. Pass. We block. Sacrifice the array. That's gone. We hit. Go to combat. Here. And give vigilance, and then we just hit him for lethal. I think in general the trample creatures actually make that matchup really, really hard to lose, like win, because the best part about blinking is you blink something in response to them attacking, no matter how large it is. You just remove it out of the way, and then it never hits you, so you get to kind of buy a lot of turns that way. But when they have trample, if you blink it, it still just goes over and it hits you for full force. You don't get to kind of cheat block, which is very unfortunate when you're playing against that, like these type of decks. But we end up pulling it out. Very fortunate draws, I will admit. We got very lucky on our draws. But hey, what are you gonna do? All right, let's talk about the deck a little bit. The deck's like really cool. I think the deck is sick. It's definitely a scam style deck where you play something for cheap and then you buff it all up. You make it a lot bigger, a lot quicker. And it's definitely a spicy list in blue-white. You could argue that maybe add black and kind of do that type of stuff where you're playing like the Flesh Gorger and things of that nature. Or like one of my favorite things I like to do if I ever play blink / scam effects is playing something like Graveyard Trespasser, forcing them to target the Trespasser, discard a card, and then I blink it. So we basically took 2 cards for nothing at all. Now, do we get a bigger creature in return? No, but you get to keep a creature in play. However, that's besides the point. That's a different deck. Maybe we'll play Esper at some point. But here, it felt really cool. It felt really nice. This card, honest opinion, sucks. Like, it's not good. But it's like, in this deck list is just good enough. It kind of acts like our Beanstalk. Like up to Beanstalk that other decks get to play is kind of what this acts as. But the rate to exile a card, we have to spend 4 mana to exile a card from the battlefield that they can just play again for the exact same cost. It doesn't make it more expensive. It doesn't do anything. Like, we got Soul Partition for 2 mana and it makes it cost 2 more. This doesn't. I don't even think it makes ours cost less. Yeah, it doesn't even make ours cost less. The only thing it really does is it draws cards, which is why I said it's like the Beanstalk part. We didn't play against green black, but for example, if you see your opponent play like a Mosswood Dread Knight or something like that, like they cycle it, you can actually just play this for 2 mana, and whenever they play that card from exile, because Adventure Zone is an exile zone, you actually draw a card for that, so you get to kind of keep up with the Dread Knight. If they play it, this card like single-handedly just lets you draw extra for that. But it can be a detriment as well, because they have a Shieldred in play. They can force you to draw extra cards if you don't have answers, so that is something to worry about. But outside of this deck, this card is something. I spent 6 mana to put 2 cards back into exile, so yeah. Outside of that, this card's pretty cool working with this card, however, so that's really neat. All these flicker effects also work well with it. It just fits well in this one deck. Outside of that, I would not craft these if you're like, oh, maybe I'll try another deck. Don't. You can play Depopulate and answer all the creatures, or for 1 more mana, you can Sunfall them and answer them permanently. But, however, we have Werewolf Bodyguards. This is kind of my first time getting to play this card, and I really enjoy it. As you saw, we made like a really neat combat trick with it. I think one of the better combat tricks you can find in the deck, where our opponent tried to Archangel our creature, and then we exiled it under the Bodyguard. We had 2 mana left to sacrifice the Bodyguard, returning our creature back to play, and then we got to Soul Partition away one of their creatures. So, the creature anyway. So, it was very nice. It was a very cool play that we got to make. And it's really sweet. The only issue is, like, this card's really good. The Assembler, I think, is really good with this style deck. I think Steel Seraph is really good in this style deck. I think this card is awkwardly underwhelming because you have to spend 3 mana for a 1/1. We spend 3 mana and this gets hit with a cut down. We're so sad. So you don't really want to play it until turn 5. But if they have 2, they can respond. Doesn't really work that well. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely have to be careful of that stuff. Other things you have to be careful of is like Liliana can be a little bit awkward at times, making you sack if you have the wrong flicker effects. Like for example, if you have the Bodyguard and you exile, like you'll lose your Bodyguard immediately, and if they have another answer, they can start their turn by minusing. You play Fox, play it, sack it to Lily, then they go for the throat. Well, I guess they can't really go for the throat season either way, but maybe this. I don't know. It's very hard. It's a very hard deck. Like, very hard to kind of comprehend every line that you'll have to have without just playing it. But overall, it felt fine. I mean, we went undefeated, so I can't really complain too much. Although I think 2 of the games were really losable, but we grinded them out. / our opponent said, "I've had enough time playing. Thank you. Goodbye." But just like that, I will also say goodbye. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.